Gone for the Douglas Hurd hairstyle. Do you remember Douglas Hurd from Spitting Image? He used to have a cream cornetto coming off his head. Good morning, everyone. How are you? Nadia's loose is happening a different day this week, so she's away today. Nice and early. We're getting earlier with coffee moaning as life gets back to normal. I've got a busy day of editing ahead. What have you got ahead of you? I was feeling giddy with excitement today. Giddy with excitement. I wasn't actually, but I wanted to feel giddy with excitement. I was just feeling giddy. Does anyone? That's a great word, isn't it? Giddy. What primary emotion are you feeling this morning, guys? And why not? From the off, if we're teeing off on the first, or we're coming out to the crease first thing in the morning, let's hit the thumbs up icon, flick off, flip back on, hit the thumbs up icon, and you'll be doing a lot of really irritating people a great disservice. Yummy Gummy, you're tired. Nora Doyle, powerful. That's good. That's good. Morning, Donna Pearson. Hope you're well. Mary Dolling, good morning. Anita O'Reilly, morning. Bored of my work and sleeping, working in the same damn room. Louise N. Yeah, no, I know what I mean. I'm editing all day today, and it's a bit useful like that. So one has to get up and get moving all the time. Optimistic. Optimistic says Dealey. Oh, God, my eyesight today. Della Nixon. Isadora Rodriguez. No, okay. Bring Mark. Morning, Mark. Shattered. Bad sleep. Anita O'Reilly. Ashley Lewis. Feeling anxious. Yeah, I tell you something I got yesterday was a little bit of, or this morning, is a little bit of euphoric recall from the images of Soho yesterday. I mean, that would have been me. I'd have been that moron at the front of the crowds snorting 2 cartons of, well, actually I say moron, maybe he isn't. He's just having fun. I was describing myself as the moron. He's probably quite a sensible chap, but I was just doing, I would have been in the front of shot, imbibing 2 pints up each nostril. Julianne, birthday message, please wish my brother-in-law Nick Cochran a happy birthday. Nick, I don't sing like Nads, as she always tells me, I can't sing, but Nick Cochran, happy birthday. And happy birthday to April too. I saw earlier today that April, you were, I think it's your birthday today as well. And I wanted to also say, send all of our condolences to Sonia, because I was just reading as I was grabbing my coffee that you lost your dog. I'm so sorry. That must be so sad. So all our apologies. Ellen, going to do some green-fingered hell in my garden today, Mark. Can you send Nanny Di prayers and love? Of course I can. I have to confess, it's a very, if I say so myself and I don't care, it's a very funny green-fingered hell that landed last night. It's very, very funny. It's very silly, it's very rude, it's very saucy, it's very naughty, it's very Nanny Di. If you fancy a bit of an escape, you know what? Sometimes we used to describe, Nadia used to describe Passport to the Sun that she used to do years ago. When I was in with one of the BBC commissioners, they said, you realise our studies show that no one actually watches the show. I was like, what? And they're like, yeah, they treat it like radio. It's on in the background. Just put Green-Fingered Hell on in the background. It's Claire Smiley says it's comedy gold. And you know what? There is a lot of improvisational shit going on in there. I sometimes see my head and Nanny's head talking and I think, where did all that stuff come from? It wasn't pre-thought, but it's just there. It's just there and you get it for free, guys. You get it for free. There might be a commercial for a, I don't know, a spade or a garden fork, but hey, we don't phone up ITV and say, why have you got commercials to pay for programmes and presenters? Do we? Yeah, of course we don't. So yeah. Just go over and have a bit of a laugh, a bit of a chuckle. That's all we do. All we try and do is distract as entertainingly as possible and as stupidly as possible. Tracy Golden, I listen to you on headphones whilst I'm dog grooming. I can't play on speakers so the dogs react to Nadia's singing. Oh my God, Tracy Golden. That's so funny. Can I photograph that and send it to Nadia? I might, if you don't mind, even Insta story it because it's so funny. At least you're getting things done. Leslie Sargent, thank you so much. It's funny, isn't it? Damned if you do, damned if you don't. But we're getting stuff done now, which is really nice. Brenda McGee, you're good? Ashley, you love the bums. Thought you would. Bobby Ward, always loved GFH. Stuart G, just been for a walk. Yeah, I'm gonna make sure that at my midday break, as the kids, everyone's meeting friends, aren't they? I'm prepping for my edit later this week, so that's exciting. But I've got to make sure I'm going to go for a walk. And it's really important to go for a walk, because if you don't go for a walk, you go mad. You'll go mad. Donna Pearson, I'm shattered today, was watching Rocky movies all night. Wow, God, I'm not surprised. I bet you feel like you've been in the boxing ring all night, don't you? Very rounded butts. They were, weren't they, Brenda McGee? I must check out with Nads where she got them from, because a fair few of them were asking. Kim Blanton, yoga done. Oh, well done. I was up at the cracker dawn. I was toying with getting my workout out of the way, but the last couple of days I've quite enjoyed parking it a little bit later in the day. It's almost something to look forward to. I don't know. Say Adigbite, sorry if I pronounced, Say Adigbite, I've been watching your channel all night. Oh my God, I do apologise, you poor thing. Melissa Phillips, bum mark. Now, Melissa, you start me off down that track, I'll never stop. Russ Souch, hello, thank you. Sending you big regards, looking forward to Oxford, kind sire. What was the triangular box on the table outside, Mark? What triangular box? Don't remember it being a triangular box. Julie N, how are you, my dear? I cycled 4 kilometres on exercise bike last night, tired today. Not surprised. I'm toying with walking around the world. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I'm literally toying with walking around the world. I think Nadia feels a bit concerned about that, because of course it will take me about 5 years. I think she could do with the break, and it might be the thing that saves our marriage. You never know. Yeah, I'm thinking of doing it for charity, and I'm thinking of filming the entire process. Yeah. Happy birthday, Dawn. Katie Johnston says, can you tell me about the gorgeous chair behind you? Ruth Blandford, made by Lisa, our friend. I will be showing you in the vlog another chair made by Lisa. Happy 60th, Dawn. Like Forrest Gump, absolutely, just like Forrest Gump. Nadia is on loose today. Helen Groves, Mark, I had to say that, Mr. Phillips, I know you did. Done 163 miles so far on your virtual mission. Julie N, that's quite something. Congratulations. Stuart G. My anxiety hit the roof on Saturday, so I went for a walk and felt a hell of a lot better when I got home. And it's the simple things, isn't it? It's the simple things, just to feel something different. I think touch and sense of touch is really important. So feeling something different on your skin, lying on the floor, pushing your face against a pine cone. Really useful. Francisca Bastos, my cousin called me this morning to sing me happy birthday, only it was 2 months too early. Better early than late. Andrea Crash, it's evening in New Zealand, but tired after being up since 2 a.m. watching the George Floyd trial. Yeah, we got hooked into some of the George Floyd trial. God, it's curious. It's interesting, isn't it, seeing how both sides are massaging, you know, the evidence. Not massaging it wrongly, I mean, obviously, but just the way they're skewing it. It's just, yeah, I worry about the outcome of that. I worry about the kickback if it doesn't go the way a lot of people think it should go. Anne-Marie Franklin, good morning. Now, last night, it was in London. I don't know if this has been sort of reported anywhere else, really. There's one of the largest surge testing sessions, largest surge testing yet in South London. Started in Lambeth and Wandsworth after 44 confirmed cases of the South African variant. It's just an important reminder for us all to just stay cautious, stay careful. It's less about what the rules are, and it's more about what we might not know is there. Just keep it safe, San Diego. Keep it safe. Thank you, Melissa Phillips. That's very kind of you. I don't know if many would agree, but I'll take that one. So yeah, the largest amount of surge testing to date began in Wandsworth and Lambeth, and the statement was anyone over 11 who lives, works or travels in that area of South London has been encouraged to take a COVID-19 PCR test. Now, Lambeth is just over there. But yeah, lots of cards going out today. We've had a real pause on cards, but loads are going out today, today and tomorrow, next couple of days. A lot of our international ones are going out in one big swatch. We've just had issues with our local post office. So I think it's less about being worried about that surge testing story, i.e., oh no, it's all going back. It's not. I just think it's important that I think this is a realistic and sensible way to deal with little explosions of it. And there you go. So that was happening last night. But of course, the images last night or this morning of Soho last night. I really want to show you this guy with these pints in his nose. Because the reason I want to show you this is because this would have been me for sure. Look, there he is. Very excited. He's finding it very funny. He's desperately trying to catch all of his bogeys. He's singing over there. This guy here is showing off the fact that he hasn't got any deodorant on. And he's drinking water. Very sensible, very sensible. But yeah, there you go. So there's him. Look, oh, there's someone else there, look. And he's essentially saying, look, I can hold it up without spilling it. And he just doesn't know what's going on in front of him. He's just like, my God, look how small you are. Was that Nanny Di? I think that might be Nanny Di down there. Who else is going on here? Yeah, he's like, don't take a photograph of me, so he's concealing himself. We got any others? Yeah, look, dog drinking beer. That dog's like, yeah, this is cool. That's really cool. She's like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Look at that pint. Look at that beer can kissing the dog. He's like, yeah, really like your red phone case. And this is like, yeah, look, look, I'm farting. And she's like, oh, that smells. And he's like, oh, that's awful. And yeah, and these people over here are saying, I don't want to dance. They can't dance. They're all a bit smelly. That would have been my night out. I'd have been in there amongst them. That's where your husband was, Brendan McGee. Looks like sheer madness, says Undefined Reb. Cray Cray in the Bray Bray. I cannot imagine being in a crowd like that. No, I know, but I saw those images like at 6:30 this morning. I was like, it's terrible, isn't it? And this is the terrible disease of addiction, guys. You get euphoric recall. And I have to have a gallows sense of humor about it. Otherwise, I'd go batshit crazy. So yeah. That's the UK. That's Old Compton Street. That's right in the heart of Soho. That's the square mile. It's where Edit City is. It's where TV. Well, it's not. In fact, it used to be where the television and film industry all were, and a lot of it still is, but most of it isn't anymore. So there you go. Breaking news: NHS website crashes moments after over 45-year-olds are told they can book a COVID vaccine. That's good. That means the demand is there, doesn't it? So yet another enormous section of society gets vaccinated. We're going to be out of this, guys. We're going to be out of this. Just take it easy, stay safe, stay calm, and get a grip, Adderley, get a grip. Ashley Lewis, after all we've been through, are these people mad? Now, of course, that's why I'm showing the images, because they're contentious. You know, I want to ask you a binary question. Have those people you've just seen gone too far? Yes or no? Whilst you do that, I'll sip my coffee out of my espresso mug. Marcy Toms, yes. Helen Groves, yes. Angie Knowles, yes. They were excited, bless them. Ray, no, no, no. Della Nixon, yes. Vast majority of people think they have. Yeah, Ray here. I think trying to catch your stuff in 2 mugs is ridiculous. Well, yeah, I mean, clearly social distancing out the window. And intriguing, because there's always a heavy police presence in town. But what are you going to do? I suppose, you know, this is the thing. As soon as drink comes into the question, it all goes out the window. And you can see why it's so difficult. I think the moral of the story is that for huge swathes of a much younger society, this crisis is over. This crisis is over. Carrie Cairns White. With things opening up again, people are just going crazy, not sticking to social distancing, nor wearing face masks. Mark my words, I think there will be a third spike COVID soon. I think there may be a lift in cases. I think, here's the thing. I was out, but only local, and it was fine. Felt really nice to be out again today. Yeah, I mean, I'm going out in the next couple of days to have fun and sort of, you know, going to be passing through many of these zones. Do you know what I'm saying? And I am looking forward to passing conviviality. I want obviously, everyone needs to be observing social distancing, but I need to, and I want to hear that sense of, just that sort of hubbub. The hubbub, right? Penny Rose, these should be more like June pictures, not now. I do think there's going to be a spike. I do think there's going to be a bounce up. But here's the thing. If there's a bounce up in cases and not a bounce up in serious hospitalizations, that in itself surely is a movement to the next stage, no? I mean, are we not looking to, we know we can't eradicate it, so aren't we surely looking to finding a way to live alongside it? And so my hope is that, perhaps, you know, the numbers will go up, the cases will go up, but I think we really need to be looking at, you know, not even necessarily the deaths in the short term, because they're going to stay low, but, you know, the serious illnesses and serious hospitalizations and things like that. But you're right, I think it's a time for caution, and I think it's an interesting, to see those images, it's an interesting reminder that for so many different people, they're at very, very different stages in this. You know, for a lot of people, they're very much over it. I'm very agnostic on it. I mean, Mental Mark, you talked about it the other day. I both want to go mad and I just want to hunker down. I feel the two. And I think it's okay to feel the two. Mrs. PD would be scared if I had been there. Bob Luke, Nadia's vaporized. Woke up this morning and there was just her slippers, accompanied by two little wisps of smoke. Zoe Agnew, I think the media can over-exaggerate images. Now, really interesting you should say that. Go back to the images I just showed you. 3 of them were taken outside the same Cafe Nero, which I know very well. And a couple of them had the same people doing the same things. And I would hazard a guess that the photographer said, you lot, get over there and all jump about a bit. It happened. Don McCullin famously set up one of the most emblematic black and white images of the Vietnam War. But he claimed he just pulled together a few things for a still life of a body and items around it. It happens. It happens to get a message across. So, yeah, there you go. Tell you what, even as a recovering alcoholic of 16 years, it would have been nice just to be on that, just to be down there, just to be able to take Nads out, just to hang out with a couple of mates, just go, stay away from me. It'd be quite nice. But I won't, because that way lies madness. In other news, the BBC has received the highest number of complaints. Right, I'm going to ask you another binary question. Julie N, we need a fun retro chat. We'll get there. Something fun and retro will come up in a minute. Maybe the BBC, maybe complaints, I don't know. Biggest number of complaints to the BBC, I think in its history, over 100,000, about its coverage of Prince Philip. 400 of those complaints were that they featured Prince Andrew talking about his father. What I want to ask you, you've just done a binary question and you've answered it mostly in the, I can't remember, no. Were they right? No, I can't remember what the question was. But it was kind of anti the idea of all those photos. Do you think the BBC overdid its Prince Philip coverage, yes or no? Well, not just the BBC, the media in general. Did they overcook, overdo, and did they overkill? Was there a danger of overkill? They cleared their schedules, they removed key programs, lots of people ended up saying the same thing an awful number of times. Prince Philip himself didn't like a lot of fuss. Viewing figures totally cratered, 60% lower on ITV. Tim Reid don't watch the BBC. Oh, it's terrible, I don't really anymore. Ashley Lewis, just don't watch it. But for some people, Ashley Lewis, it's their only media. You know, for a lot of older people who aren't plugged into sort of, you know, all sorts of platforms and all that sort of stuff, which cost a lot when you add them all up. Not as much, interestingly, as the BBC licence. Claire Smiley, hate the BBC. No, he's royal family. Think it's what's to be expected. Just think leave him be. I mean, you know, Ruth, I wanted to see Loose Women. BBC One, BBC Two, BBC News and BBC Parliament channels showing exactly the same thing at the same time. That seems odd, don't you think? Why not even slightly tailor or adjust your content differently across your many channels? It was a historical event. We are going to have probably wall-to-wall coverage of the funeral. I do think, interestingly, I think even Philip himself wouldn't have wanted that amount of coverage. And I think what happens, this is my feeling about it, Gardener's World was cancelled, says Monica Smith. Come on, Monty Don. I think all of our broadcasters have an absolute responsibility to pay their respects, to chronicle it, and to feature it as a moment in history. Absolutely. But I do think actually, if the people in charge need to really make a very sort of, very strong value judgment there, because if you do too much of it, you just lose people's sympathy and interest, don't you? I mean, you're going to lose people. Bob Luke, I've said 3 times now, she's at Loose Women. I'm joking, Bob. That was me being a teacher. Do you know what I mean, Bob? But yeah, I've answered you 3 times. I think you need to pay attention in the class. Really do. She shifted her diary this week. Do you know what I mean? And I think you run the risk of doing damage to something that's actually a very precious remembrance. Charlotte Roberts, there's a little bit of retro. For Julienne, do you remember Points of View? I do remember Points of View. I remember my nan ringing me once. I did a survival endurance show years ago for the BBC, and we did this one film about this footballer who ran 6 back-to-back marathons in the Atacama Desert in Chile. And my nan's greatest moment was when she phoned me and said, "Marky, I've just heard someone on Points of View saying your Chile running film was one of the greatest things they've seen on telly." And I was like, "Oh, wow, thanks, Nan." Yeah, it was good. At the time, I was a bit kind of too cool for Points of View. I liked Points of View, though. I think, you know what? I've got a really funny feeling Nadia presented it once. I really do. I really do. Helen Groves, that's exactly what I thought. Extremely sad, but got pissed off with listening to the same thing. Exactly. So we were in a favourably mournful remembrance mode, and then after it's gone on for too long, you're like, "Oh, for God's sake." I mean, my nan would have been like, "For God's sake, guys, don't go on about me." Barry Took. Oh, that's it. Yeah, Faith Goodman, they could have played music with scenes of the countryside. Or they could have had a train journey. Or something like that. Should have been on for 2.4 hours, says Ashley, not 24. And that's not about being disrespectful to the memory. Anita O'Reilly, quick question off topic. Is there an easy way to watch 99 Films a show on YouTube on my TV without the link? Can never do it. I don't know if you can access playlists on television. We don't watch it on television, to be honest with you. But try the playlist, Sunday show. Octopus Teacher, Sharon McGann. Isn't it good? Wonder if it'll win the Oscar. Anne Robinson used to present Points of View. Barry Took used to present Points of View. Nadia once did a guest spot on Points of View. And they used to sort of bring the comments in, didn't they, left and right, a bit like the Crossroads titles. So super Soho madness, super surging testing, BBC complaints. Have you ever complained to the BBC about anything? Have you ever complained to the BBC? My nan used to complain to the BBC all the time. Tara Fitzgerald, Mark, I wanted to say thank you for encouraging me to speak to my therapist after a bad session. All sorted now. Voila, I'm really pleased, Tara. I remember you asking about that, yes. Yeah, really, really important. I mean, that's part of the training, as I'm about to discover, is being able to take, constructive criticism or guidance. Melissa Answer, I think I'm too young to care. Rachel Dodge, Nadia's Point of View, self-guest, presenter, 2004, there you go. Lior, you complained. Teddy was on Inspector Morse, yeah. Actually, I don't really see the point in complaining. Yeah, I know what you mean, just get on with it. My nan used to complain about everything. I mean, she always pretended she was Councillor Ward. She'd phone up the council and say there's someone sleeping in a van outside my house. I disagree that the toxic stuff is going to be put in the sea in Japan, Julianne. Sorry, I don't know what that's about. If you pull the Sunday show up on your phone and then send it to your TV, you could do it that way. That's a good idea. Why complain about BBC? It's London bias. Yeah, it is London. I mean, the BBC is often criticised for its London-centric or South-East-centric bias. Now, this other story I thought was kind of interesting. In Italy, there's a village or a community of women mainly women, who are super immune residents. They're like superheroes. At first glance, this small group of women chatting in an Italian town of Vo Eugeneo appear perfectly normal. A pensioner, a former hotel employee, they have a special quality that makes them fascinating and potentially the envy of millions. Listen to this. Blood tests show that each one of them is teeming with more than double the number of antibodies normally found in those who've had COVID. enough to see off the virus, and not only see off the virus, but give it a huge punch to the neck that keeps it on the floor for about 3 more years. Super antibodies. Maria Tossetto, 59, says with a twinkle, let's just say I have a few more antibodies than most. I'd feel a bit cocky if I had 3 times the antibodies. It's a weird old virus, isn't it? And it's weird how it affects us all. So they're being studied, and the Italians are very protective of these women. But I've got a vision in the future that these 3 women, what did they say? A pensioner, a former hotel employee, and a local council worker. I think these 3 women, give them capes, give them masks. They could be like the super COVIDs, the super COVID marshals. We could fly them around the world, and you just put them in the middle of a social group, like drop them in the middle of Soho last night. And like in sort of superhero fashion, there'll be this eminent glow from them, emanating. And as it glows, it gives everyone immunity. Yeah, like the reverse of kryptonite. Imagine that. They'd be like the Powerpuff Girls. The Powerpuff Girls. You sort of drop them in different parts of the world. Take blood transfusions of them and inject them into men like me's eyeballs, and then we can beam their COVID powers at people. I think it's very exciting. It's very interesting. It's very odd. So yeah, any under 45-year-olds here? Oh God, it's Prince Andrew's face. That's something you don't want to see in close up. God. What was I going to say? Anyone here is under 50 who's going to go and have their jab? Anyone here going to go and have their jab? Or know of anyone who's going to go and have their jab? Charlotte Roberts, yeah, we should make a comic out of that, a graphic novel. The super COVID ears. The COVID ears. COVID ears? Got COVID ears. Had mine for under 40s. Is it under 40? No, under 50s, going 50, 45 with you, sir, at 47. Yeah, and it's kind of a good sign, isn't it, that the website's crashed. I mean, it's not good in that people can't bloody book them now, but it means that everyone wants them. That's good, isn't it? So yeah, so there we go. As we said yesterday, we are going to be talking about, oh look, this is a big story, it's just broken. The WHO has called, only a year and a half too late, the WHO has called for a ban on the sale of live animals in food markets to combat pandemics. Oh, well done. If only that had been in place a year and a half ago. So there you go. They've called for it. It's not happening. They've called for it. I forgot what I was going to say there. I was going to say something really interesting. Completely forgotten. And apparently the pink supermoon in April will be the biggest and brightest of the year. I went out the other night for a walk, and the moon was so enormous. The last full moon was so enormous, it looked like a planet had landed on our road. Really weird. Really, really weird. It looks astonishing. I'll try and get an image of it this time. Oh yeah, no, that's what I was saying. In terms of confessions, we're recording confessions tonight. It is about eating disorders, and it is about using and talking about Nikki Graham's story, because I think it's a story that needs to keep being talked about. I think there's still time. If you go over to Nadia's Instagram, her Insta stories, you can leave a comment or leave your thoughts, and we'll be reading some of them out. It's going to be quite big. We've got a guest contributor on this podcast, so that'd be good. Cookery might be happening tonight. I need to check. We're recording a podcast tonight, and it's really dependent. If it doesn't happen tonight, it'll happen tomorrow night. But we will keep you posted on the community tab there. Guys, I've got to scoot. I've got lots to do, and you have a lovely day. Stay safe, San Diego. Hit the thumbs up icon if you haven't. It's great because it really pisses a couple of really cretinous individuals off. And subscribe if you haven't, because that's really nice, because then you'll be reminded of when my irritating face or Nadia's irritating face will come up and just bother you for a while. But anyway, seriously guys, and if you want a real chuckle, it's really sweet. I do think it's really nice having this connection time with my mum, but it really is. We like to think of Greenfingered Hell as our Paul Whitehouse and Bob Mortimer's version of go fishing, where not a lot of gardening happens, but a little bit does. So go over there. Have a lovely day, guys. As ever, love all your comments. Tim Reed, Natalie, try Anorexia and Bulimics Anonymous, absolutely. Please stay across the community tab for any new content that's coming up. And I think a vlog is landing later today at some point. It's edited, so I've just got to see where it is in my computer. All right, guys, lots of love.